The Geeking Poetic podcast is starting now.
That is some funky music.
This is grooving and ready to go, though.
Play that funky music. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Geeking Squad Podcast. This is the August 2025 episode. Somehow or another, we've actually managed to be on schedule.
Why would you say that?
Well, we're here.
Yes,
we're here.
True. This is true.
Hopefully it comes out in August. You never know with us. Things happen and then they get delayed. But somehow we've stayed somewhat on schedule for, what is this, like 2 episodes in a row?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess it is only 2.
Yeah, I think it's technically only 2, but we're going to go with
it. Who's counting?
So welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Larry Roberts. This spunky one over here, the recent winner of the Mud Run Challenge that I guess everybody was
Everybody's a winner.
Yeah. Over here is none other than
Megan Guests.
And we are here to do one of our Squadcast episodes. For those that maybe are only listening for the first time, we have a group. In addition to this channel, we have a group that is on Facebook that we call the Geeking Squad, and it's free and open for everybody to join. We don't do politics, we don't do religion, nothing controversial like that. Yep. We just talk about mostly pop culture stuff.
Mm-hmm. All the things we love.
Yes.
Make us happy.
Exactly. And we will share articles in there. We have a bunch of great people that have been in there. Some of them are regulars that post and share and comment on things, have been doing it for years now. And what we decided to do was a podcast that works in conjunction with that. So we talk about the things that everybody's been sharing for the most part for the last month.
Yep.
So again, it's going to be things having to do with movies, TVs, comics, books, toys, cartoons, science, history, UFOs and ghosts and whatever. Choose memes. We'll get into that later, but we cover all of that. So if that is your bag, baby, then you have come to the right place.
We are your peeps.
Yeah, we are your peeps. And we break it down into different sections here. This first section is kind of a catch-all, mostly focusing on what's been going on in entertainment news, Hollywood news, those sort of things, and stuff that basically is going to appeal to a lot of like Gen Xers like us.
Right.
And that section is affectionately referred to by us as
What's shaking, bacon?
Yeah, it's time for the old shaken bacon. So this is what's shaken lately in the news. We always kind of joke lightheartedly at the beginning of each episode that leave it to us to do something like this where we're supposed to be like, energetic and happy, but then we started off with a bunch of like rest in peace segments.
Seriously,
for people.
It's been a rough month too.
Yeah, there is no joking around about it this time. Because we've lost tons, and to be honest with you, apologies ahead of time, because I'm sure there's ones that we're like not even remembering, because there have been so
many of them.
Yes, since July into August. We're not going to do this in any kind of order. We're just going to go by how we've got them listed here. So these are not necessarily in order of how they passed. But first and foremost, Lonnie Anderson. You know who Lonnie Anderson is, right?
I do. I remember her from WKRP.
Yeah, I think that's where most people know her from, although she was in a lot of different stuff. She was one of those stars that I think was, not that she wasn't talented and she didn't do a lot of things, but she was just famous. You know what I mean? Like she had a certain look to her hair, her whole style. She had a certain kind of Southern elegance to her, I guess you could say, that a lot of people really admired. She was definitely influential on that late 70s, early 80s style. She had that whole, even though she wasn't on Dallas, but she had that whole
big hair.
Yeah, she had the big hair and the diamonds and the tight dresses and the perfect makeup and as I said, everybody mostly knew her. I think most people historically now associate her with WKRP.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
But she passed away. She made it to 80, but sadly she passed. She's following Burt Reynolds there. She'll be reunited with old Burt, So that was very sad to hear about that.
It was so sad.
All right, moving on to one that I would say, man, it's not like it's a competition here, but I would say the one that probably garnered maybe the most reaction worldwide from people
Absolutely.
has to be the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. Man, I gotta be honest with you. Again, I mean, anybody, if you're familiar with me and you're familiar with this channel, you know, goes without saying. Obviously, we're fans of Ozzy here. We've gone to see him in concert. We've done multiple videos, both long and short, talking about Ozzy. So that was heartbreaking, not completely unexpected. Obviously, last month they had just done the Back to the Beginning farewell concert, where Ozzy performed for the last time with his solo band as well as with Black Sabbath, and they had tons of special guests that came out. I mean, everybody you could think of, just about, from
Pretty much, yeah.
Alice in Chains and Anthrax on to Metallica and Disturbed on through just tons, even newer artists like Youngblood. It was really something, and it was really nice. Well, literally within
A week later?
days, yes.
I don't think anybody expected it that soon.
No, they didn't expect him to go that quickly. I mean, it had only just been a couple days before that the family had admonished early reports that he wasn't doing well. They were claiming that, Ozzy was on his deathbed, and Sharon and the kids came out and said, "That's not true. Stop spreading rumors." Well, I mean, that had just barely gotten out there when it came through. Because when I first found out it was announced, I was like, no, they already dispelled that. That's a rumor. That's not true. And then as I started seeing it coming in more and more, I was like, oh my gosh, that really is true. He really did pass. And it's so cool to see the reaction from people. Like, he's gotten so much love from people across
all walks of life.
Yes, across the board.
Yeah. I just saw something where maybe it was from Sharon or somebody, that Ozzy on his deathbed was like, I didn't know people actually liked me that much.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of heartbreaking. It's sweet at the same time.
Well, yeah, because he didn't know. Ozzy, you got to understand, Ozzy came from, I wouldn't say poverty, but he was pretty low class in terms of, he grew up in England, and he grew up in a part of Birmingham where, like, they didn't even have indoor plumbing, that sort of thing. When Ozzy tells the famous story of when he first got his first check from Black Sabbath, when they first time he ever made money playing music, he went out and, people be like, oh, did you buy a car? Did you get a home? And he was like, no, I made just enough money to, like, basically, I'm sure he gave some to his family, and then he, like, bought himself a pair of shoes because he didn't own a decent pair of shoes. And he bought a expensive bottle of cologne because he was tired of stinking so bad and being rejected by people, because he just...
Wow.
Yeah. I posted a thing on Facebook where I was talking about the misconceptions people have about artists, where they will assume that if you're somebody like Ozzy and you go out and you have this sort of so-called demonic image and you call yourself, I'm the Prince of Darkness and all this, like you'd always say. But it's a character.
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
It's a gimmick. And just because he's singing these songs or he's putting this on, it doesn't mean that he loves Satan or anything like that. And it's so funny how people can miss the obvious, because Ozzy was always, first of all, he wasn't wearing upside down crosses. He was wearing proper crosses. He was constantly telling people, God bless you all, and God bless all of us. And he was, you know what I mean? He was like a heavy metal Tiny Tim, he was just like, God bless us, everyone. He was, if he was into the devil, he wouldn't be telling you that, but people look past that stuff and they don't understand that entertainers are just putting on a role. It's no different than Vincent Price or Bela Lugosi or something like that. He was a decent, sweet guy. Now, he did some crazy stuff in his life, but that was unfortunately more due to personal problems he had over the years with addiction and sobriety and emotional and mental issues. And yeah, I think all the way up until the end, he knew he was famous, but I don't think he really understood how much people like really genuinely adored him. Right. That they really liked him. And so, yeah, I'm glad that
he got to see that.
Yeah, I'm glad he lasted just long enough to get that big, hurrah at the end. But yeah, it's not going to be the last time he may be gone. Certainly won't be forgotten, and ain't going to be the last time we're going to be talking about him, because I've got more plans for some Ozzy content coming up. And again, not because we're capitalizing on it or anything. I was talking about him long before this happened, man, and I'm going to keep doing it. One that we did not see coming, and this was another one that, especially for Gen Xers, is like a big wow moment, was the sad passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah, that one hit hard.
Yeah, that's tough. It's already, growing up a Cosby Show fan, it's been tough lately with other things that have gone on regarding the lead star and everything. But, we never lost our love of those characters. And by and large, I always thought that, for as much as people focused on Cosby, I always thought that it was that cast that made that show.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, those kids were great. They were just so funny, and him in particular, Malcolm, he was great, and he was known by most accounts and most people. I never met him, but I know from other people that have said, like, man, he was a really good guy. He was a super decent human being, like a very fun and peaceful kind of guy. And he was a really good musician as well. A lot of people. Oh, yeah. People don't know that. He was a really good bassist. And, and he was very much into like funk and soul and reggae and, very versatile in his tastes. And, he died tragically while swimming. Yeah. And with his daughter's okay, but yeah, he didn't make it, and he was only 55. He's only just a couple years older than me. So yeah, very sad. And again, not wanting to dwell on the negative here, but I think considering these people, we need to mention them, and they need to be talked
absolutely.
about.
I loved his role in Fool's Gold.
Oh yes,
he cracks me up in that one.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're both.
That's
fans.
sad. We're not going to see him in anything anymore.
Definitely.
But I'll be watching everything old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still worth watching the old stuff for sure, because he was great. Look up for any of you at home, man, look up his music stuff. Listen to that. Give it a chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
He was really talented. Yeah, just a very talented guy. But last but not least, speaking a little bit of controversial characters, but I'd be remiss if we didn't mention that. Just what was it? 2 days, I think, after Ozzy passed, Hulk Hogan, the famous wrestler, passed away. He died at 71. Again, I'm not going to get too much into it, but love him or hate him.
Yeah, I would think more of the character.
Well,
the wrestling character. That's what I would like to focus on.
Yeah, and I think that it's one of those things that regardless of where people go or where they had, there are a lot of things that came out, even the way he handled his business and stuff. A lot of other wrestlers did not like him because of the way he handled business stuff and everything. So he was a controversial character in many ways, but it cannot be understated that he was such an inspirational character to so many kids, the Gen Xers and such, back in the 1980s, because his message was always positive. The persona he portrayed then was always such a big deal. And, he changed that later when he became in the NWO and he became like a bad guy and all that kind of stuff. And it did change all of that later on. You can't erase that influence that it had on kids when they were young and impressionable.
Yes, exactly.
And I've met a lot of people who said, you know what, I may not have cared for the guy later in terms of whether it was because he changed his character, the way he handled certain things, just various things. but they've admitted that, like, I still have to give him credit for what he meant to me when I was a kid.
Exactly.
And the fact that he was putting out such a positive role model kind of message there, that can't be completely taken away because that helped form who we are.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
That's exactly what I shared that in the group because that's what it meant to me.
Right.
Like all the other stuff is like, that's immaterial. It meant a lot to me as a kid growing up.
Right. Yeah.
He was a huge character. He introduced me to wrestling, you know?
Right.
And like you said, it's such a positive message. It's
right.
You can't erase that.
You right, exactly. And I think that people should understand that if somebody is going to say like, oh, that you know, that's hard for me to deal with. It hurts to know that Hulk Hogan is dead, and other people want to get critical about it and say, well, blah blah blah. It's like, no, you don't understand. It's the same thing in a lot of ways for when Christopher Reeve died. I mean, even though Christopher Reeve was by all accounts, was a wonderful human being. But even if he hadn't have been, you know, what Superman, him when he played Superman and what he meant to me when I was 5 years old, that you know, you can't help but feel like that character died. You know what I mean? You know, that's the part that I think is hard, is knowing that somebody who was a role model for you when you were a child is gone. So anyway, yeah, this has been the longest I think we've ever done in this segment. But you know what? Again,
we couldn't skip any of those.
These can't be skipped. Yeah, as it is, I think we're probably skipping some that have come up because it's been a rough summer. Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's move on to some more positive kind of things. Yes. We'll try to keep it short here, but we can get through them. First of all, this is something that I've talked about plenty. We've featured things like this before on the show, and I'm always only too happy to talk about cereal, especially the Monster cereals. I love the General Mills Monster cereals. Of course, we're talking about Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry. Unfortunately, only those three, because I don't think they do the other ones anymore. They don't do Fruit Brute or Fruity Yummy Mummy, although they did come up with...
They had the new one, didn't they?
Yeah,
last year?
The female one, and that was really good. That's a really, really good cereal, too. I thought that was really cool that they came out with that new one. So I hope they're continuing that. But from what I saw, so correct us, please. Leave a comment. But I saw only the three cereals, that it was Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry, are going to come back this season with Muppet-like versions. So the boxes are the characters, but they were designed in conjunction with the Jim Henson Company.
Nice.
And so that you're going to go out now, and it's not going to be the cartoon versions. They are going to be basically Muppets that are on the photos of the Muppets that are on the boxes. And for all you collector types like me out there, there is a Walmart exclusive version of Frankenberry where the box actually has like a fuzzy face. So when you touch the box, it's going to feel like that kind of fuzzy felt feeling like a Muppet feels like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. No, it's not.
Look for that.
The cereal itself is not,
it's not fuzzy.
No,
oh, yeah.
Don't worry about that.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. So that is coming out now. I have not seen them yet. So by all means, anybody that's listening to this, please.
Everybody, we're on the lookout.
Yeah. Give us a heads up in the comments, whether you comment in the Geeking Squad group on Facebook or on the comments under this, wherever you are listening to us right now. Please let us know if you found any of them and where you found them. Moving on, another anniversary just passed. It's not like a golden anniversary type thing. It's the 44th anniversary. I'm highlighting this because I looked at the article and I went, oh my God, I can't believe 44 years. Again, making me feel real old. But August 1st, 1981 was the launch of the MTV channel. So there were music videos already in existence, hence why they made MTV, because MTV didn't invent videos. But there had never really been a channel that was just dedicated to music video content. And they launched this on August 1st on cable. I did not have this when I was a kid. I knew other people who did. So whenever I would watch MTV, it had to be by proxy through other people. If I was at their house, or I've told stories about how I had friends like Mike and others that would tape things for me. Sometimes a couple times I would give people tapes and I'd be like, just let it run. Just start taping on Friday night or whatever and just fill the tape, let it fill for several hours worth of it and I'll watch it later. And it was so important. People, music video content is kind of important because we're in the middle of making a music video, aren't we? Yeah, Megan over here has been helping with myself and my band November's Doom. We've been making the third video for our new album. We have a song that'll be coming out in early September, and it's definitely one of the biggest productions we've done.
And it's way different than what you guys normally do.
Yeah, it's way different.
It's been a blast. I cannot wait.
If you're into horror, kind of scary, whatever, found footage type things, you'll have to check this out. Even if you don't like the music, because we are very heavy, that's fine.
Very heavy song.
Yeah, it's like our heaviest song I think we've ever written too. So it's not indicative of everything we do.
It's really good though.
But it all lends itself to being this sort of monster scary thing. And yeah, I mean, I love music videos. Everybody that knows me knows that. I've been addicted to them since I was in single digits as a child. But I don't think people understand, because now with the internet, everything is so right there. Music videos. I mean, every commercial you see now is basically like a music video half the time,
Pretty much.
So I don't think that later generations quite understand the impact of the music video. Back then, there was so much music that was either made or broken by you having a music video out and how it was received on MTV. A ton of the music that I ended up liking came as a result of me seeing the music video for the first time, more so than hearing them on the radio or finding them at the store, although that did factor in as well. But yeah, it's just really interesting that format has in so many ways changed. And yet at the same time, you've got knuckleheads like us that are still making old school, making music videos. We're still doing it. And now it's not something that's necessarily making us famous, but it's just artistic. We're just doing it as a means of an artistic outlet of like, we've got this concept. And man, it used to take back in these days when MTV started in 81, it cost lots of money to make a music video. Not even if they weren't good, it cost a lot of money.
Yeah, we couldn't have done them by ourselves.
No,
back
and
then.
now we're
like, okay, I have this concept. Now how do we make it actually happen?
Yeah, and we're doing everything from
like, I want this light to move. Fishing wire. Where's the fishing wire?
Right, and that's what's been so cool about making this video is we've been doing it like so old school, like cheesy Plan 9 from outer space style or something. But then with digital technology and all that helping to make it look cool as well. Yeah, it's really something. It's interesting because, like I said, it could make or break people back in the day. And the very first video they played on MTV that day in August 1st, 81 was called Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. Do you know that song?
I do.
Yeah, and so that was like really foretelling the 80s and even the 90s where that went with that. A couple other real quick little tidbits. The first female artist that was ever aired was Pat Benatar.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she was, she at the time was getting really big. She was cutting edge. She had just put out songs like Heartbreaker and Hit Me With Your Best Shot. So she was super hot at the time. But the song that she debuted with was You Better Run, which was actually a cover of an older song from like the 60s or something like that.
Interesting.
It's been covered a few times. And because I'm a metal guy, I got to note that the first metal video they ever played was a live clip of Iron Maiden doing the song Iron Maiden.
Nice.
So, I mean, yeah, people argue about who are the kings of metal. It's like, well, that's just one more thing to
Put in their cap right there.
to say that Iron Maiden are probably the kings of metal. I know some people say Metallica. Some people, some people say Black Sabbath or Judas Priest. I can't really decide, to be honest with you. But yeah, first metal band ever played was Iron Maiden.
So talk about more craziness. Are you ready for this?
Oh boy.
The Annabelle doll, possessed and super messed up.
Gosh, the Annabelle stuff has been crazy lately.
Because the guy that took her,
that
was taking her on tour, right?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, Dan Rivera.
Yeah,
Dan Rivera. He was a paranormal investigator.
Yeah, he was going to take her on all these tours.
Yeah, they were calling it Devils on the Run tour.
Seriously.
Yeah, right. It's like you're just asking for it.
Good Lord.
Right.
So he ends up dying mysteriously in his hotel room.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Okay. So it's been contentious, of course. And there's a few funny points. I shouldn't say funny, but a few interesting points, we'll say, that I want to bring up about this. So now, he was in the middle of this tour. He was in Pennsylvania. And he died. He wasn't that old. I want to say Dan Rivera was only, again, he was like 54.
Yeah.
And he died. And I got the impression that it was unexpected. Now, they did investigate into it. And the coroner and the police came back and said they didn't find anything unusual. Okay, right. Meaning, like, I'm sure that it was like he might have had a heart attack, that sort of thing. I didn't get those details yet. What I know, hang on. I know where you're going to go with this. Hang on, I'll let you loose in a second. And the other thing is, they're saying, well, and the doll wasn't in the room with him when they found him. Like, the doll wasn't there.
Oh shit.
But it's like, right, and so I'm sure you're thinking the same thing I am. I'm like, first of all, were you expecting, like, the doll to be standing there with a knife or something?
Right.
Like,
that's not at all how she operates.
It's more like a curse.
And again, it's not like the devil and all that, where you have the 3 marks down your back and shit,
Right.
I was like, she's going to fuck up your insides. Like a fucking heart attack.
Right. Like a curse.
A curse, yeah.
Right.
So, duh, you haven't sold me on anything here. And now she's freaking missing.
Well,
so of course she's not in the room with them.
Okay, so then a follow-up on that. Now, they haven't, from what I read, and again, if people have seen other information that have come out since, please let us know. But from what I read, that was claimed that, no, the doll isn't missing. They know where she is. Now, they didn't say where.
Okay.
Right? But the other interesting thing was that right at the same time, they announced that comedian Matt Rife has purchased the Occult Museum in Connecticut, along with the home of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Right.
For those at home that maybe don't know, but Ed and Lorraine Warren are the ones who had the Occult Museum and had all of these artifacts, all these supposed evil and possibly possessed artifacts that they had gathered together and kept under lock and key for the safety, purportedly, of everybody else out there. They had said, don't
mess with her.
Yeah, don't let that doll out. We keep her in the case. We keep her there for a reason. And they did all sorts of other, like, religious, things, ceremonial things and stuff, and holy water and whatever else to around her to kind of be like, we're doing this for everybody else's good. They passed, and then you get people like Dan Rivera and the like that now Matt Rife, who are making it more like, well, let's tour it around. Let's people. It's like,
you're not taking this seriously. Don't take legal guardianship of this stuff if you're not going to take it seriously.
Right.
I'm sorry. This is not things you need to be messing around with.
Right.
You don't understand.
Well, and I get that there are a lot of people, I'm sure there are plenty of people that are
They're
listening.
skeptical.
And they're skeptical and they're going, well, I don't believe in any of this stuff anyway. And it's like, well, my attitude.
Now you put all of everybody at risk because you don't want to believe.
Well, and I was just going to say, my attitude is this. It's like a lot of other things in the universe, whether we're talking ghosts or aliens or what have you. I don't have the answer. I don't know what is real and what isn't. I don't have a definitive answer either way. So my attitude is, why
don't mess with it?
Yes, exactly.
Don't risk it then.
Why would I mess with it if I have a definitive answer that it is not dangerous, then that's different. But if I don't know that for certain, no matter how much I'm skeptical of it, I mean, there have been tons of things that over the course of history, people were skeptical about that we came to find out was actually true or had some truth to it with advancements in science and all that. So until I have a definitive answer, I don't mess with it. And my thing is, like I said, these people spent their life doing this and putting these things away and safe away from harming others or potentially harming others, however you want to look at it. And now to just make a spectacle out of it is sort of disrespectful. I don't know.
Yep.
Plus, here's the last thing I want to say about this. So the thing that I find kind of, this is where I was saying it's not funny, but it's funny, not funny, haha, funny, but funny in terms of being like, well, that's peculiar, is that all these other paranormal investigators that were friends with Mr. Rivera and such have been very vocal about being angry that people are speculating that the doll and all that had anything to do with Rivera's death. And I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. You are paranormal investigators, which leads me to believe that you have some belief that these things could be, that there are paranormal things out there, right?
Yeah, you've seen something to make you want to dig deeper.
You would think that you have some level of belief in this stuff that has made you paranormal investigators. So why are you getting so angry that other people are jumping to conclusions like that and going, well, maybe it had something to do with the doll, and you're going, that's ridiculous, that's preposterous. It's like, well, for you to sit there and say that's ridiculous and preposterous, you're essentially saying that what you do is ridiculous and preposterous, because shouldn't you as paranormal investigators be going, man, we should look into this? Because
maybe they feel like he made them look stupid.
Maybe. No, I mean, they were defending him and saying, respect this man. And they're saying it's disrespectful towards him to go out and make a whole thing about this, and saying people are just bringing this up for clicks and for attention. And I'm like, everything you guys do is based on that. Like every show you do, every video you put on YouTube, every movie, every documentary, every book you write about all your paranormal, we're investigating the house that had these murders and blah, blah, blah. And people have speculated that it was because it's cursed or because there's ghosts or it's on Holy Land. And that's what you paranormal investigators do. So for somebody to get angry who's a paranormal investigator that other people are speculating that maybe this cursed doll being in possession and taken out of its safe storage place by this man having some sort of effect on why this man suddenly and unexpectedly died at a young age, it just seems hypocritical to me. I can understand people that knew him being like, look, he was our colleague, our friend, our relative, what have you. And it's difficult for us to see his death being made a spectacle because of this. And it feels really awkward and everything to us. But you have to understand that goes hand in hand with what you do as well, because you go out and you investigate homes that you think are haunted and all these other things, or stuff that was his family that died there, Amityville, right? Something like that. And everything. It's like, you don't think that what you're doing is just as disrespectful, but now because it's one of your colleagues and somebody you're going, it's disrespectful to turn it into this spectacle and assuming that it's this possessed doll. Well, then what the hell were you touring the possessed doll around for? You were already making that a spectacle.
Yeah.
You were inviting yourself into that, man. Like, don't be a paranormal investigator taking demonic dolls out on tour called Devils on the Run tour. Was he telling everybody on the tour? Was he telling everybody, hey, just so you know, this is all fake and none of this is real? That would have been different. But you're going out there and you're trying to like spook everybody with, hey, we've got this possessed doll. Be careful. And then you die and you're going to get mad because people assume that there's a connection?
Right.
That just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I feel bad for Mr. Rivera. I'm not happy that he died or anything like that.
No.
I don't want there to be a spectacle. I completely understand when they say respect the family's wishes and their privacy. Absolutely. But to get angry at the public because we're putting two and two together here and going, well, guys touring around supposedly cursed objects and then he dies unexpectedly, mysteriously, and you're getting mad at us because we're jumping to certain conclusions or going, maybe. I don't know. That just seems really hypocritical. And to me, it just makes those paranormal investigators look phony. It's like, it just makes it like, it's like, well, you're just giving yourselves away essentially that you don't really believe in any of this then.
Right.
I don't know. What do you folks think out there? Anyway, we're going to move on to something a little bit more cheerful, potentially, hopefully more cheerful. You never know when it comes to these places.
Yes.
Why don't you tell them?
So apparently Chuck E. Cheese.
Yep. Love Chuck E. Cheese.
Been a kid, plays pizza, the big rat, all that stuff, right?
The big rat. Man.
They are going to open adult arcade with restaurants.
Yeah, so basically it sounds like it's just going to be a Chuck E. Cheese, but it's not meant for kids.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think they're calling it Chuck's Arcade.
That's weird, but
that is kind of weird.
kind of weird, right?
Yeah, I guess. But so the whole idea is that it's going to be like located in malls. I guess there are already some that have been opened. It said there's some that they're going to be in malls in like Florida, Connecticut. There's a couple in Oklahoma.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's New York, Georgia, Texas, and New Hampshire and St. Louis, Missouri.
Wow. Okay. There's quite a bit of them already.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like they're fairly new, but yeah, the whole thing is that it's going to be a thing that I guess
it's like to capture that Gen X thing that's going, it's huge.
Yeah,
right
and
now
well, I mean,
in
it
our
goes
childhoods.
along. Right, it goes along with what you and I have talked about in the past on here when we've talked about like why aren't they trying to capitalize a little bit more on that? Okay. Like why don't they? It kind of goes along. I like the fact that they've put them in malls because that's what I've been saying. People say like, "Oh, the mall is dead,"
dying, yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's because you don't allow malls to be good. Like you're not trying to make them like a fun retro cool place to be. You go into a lot of malls. I'm not saying there's no good stores in malls. There's a bunch of great stores that are still located in malls, but the overall vibe and the way it's been handled and the way a lot of these owners have been allowing the malls to just sort of deteriorate and have a bunch of empty space and they're not.
Yeah, it used to be like an experience. Now you go to the mall for a purpose
Right.
and then leave.
Right. And I know they worry about things like, crime and various issues, but I don't know. I think that's anywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
I think that if you took a mall and you actually purposely tried to make a mall a little bit more kitschy and cool like that and try to draw in more of the 35 to 60 crowd, we'll say, and get them in there. Things like this, like a Chuck E. Cheese for adults, which, I mean, what is this? Oh, so in other words, it's Dave and Buster's with a rat.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it sounds like in pizza. I'm all for it. In fact, I would like to think that maybe, well, I shouldn't say I would like to think, but I will be curious to see how this fares because I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country, but I know like around here, we're constantly hearing about like
exactly.
There was brawls at the local Chuck E. Cheese between people, and I would like to think that maybe if it's an adult one and the kids aren't there, that maybe it would actually, because people might be inclined to think like, well, the kids one would be more safe, but
no, I don't think it is.
no,
Because you got like the 20-year-olds and stuff that have the little kids.
yeah.
You know, and then, but it's 35, you know, we're a little older and smarter sometimes.
I don't know about that, but
I'm going to use that loosely.
yeah.
But maybe a little less likely to break out into fights.
Well, it seems like a lot of times the fights end up happening. It's either between like teenagers or it's between like parents that are fighting because of stuff that has to do with the kids and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it won't, but I will definitely be interested in checking one out. But I'm not holding my breath that it's going to be amazing.
I'm going to stay hopeful.
Yeah, but we'll see. But speaking of hopeful, there was something cool that you posted in the group that I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So Star Trek's Nichelle Nichols,
Yes.
Uhura, which we met. She was a lovely lady.
She was great.
She was amazing.
Yep.
They are opening a space camp for girls in her honor.
That is
in her name.
super cool. Again, it's another one of those things. Here's an example of where you could take somebody who was an actor and actually use it for
good.
For good. Yeah. She may have only been an actor, but because she was female, because she was African American, and because she was breaking a lot of boundaries out there at a time when it was really important, you know, back in the 60s, what a role model she was for so many people. Even though she was just playing a character on TV, it still had a huge impact on a lot of people.
Yeah, for women and women of color.
And just people in general because Star Trek was so crucial. I don't think the future, or the present, I should say, I don't think our present would be what it is without Star Trek.
Yeah, the technical advances, for sure.
And just a lot of the way people prior to that, I feel like they looked at science and science fiction and space. They looked at it as either being something that was too out there and unattainable, or they looked at it in a more kitschy, silly kind of way. You know, it was all Ed Wood movies. Like I said, it was all, you know, an ape with a space bowl over his head, you know, and a silly ray gun and teenagers running on the beach from him, like really schlocky B-rate movie stuff. And I feel like while I know people can think that Star Trek still had a schlocky element to it, there was a lot of lessons and a lot of things that they did on that show with the writing. Again, like you're saying, like with characters like Uhura. She and Kirk were the first interracial kiss on television.
Yep.
Star Trek did that. And you can't discredit that, not least of which you can't discredit how many women have come out over the years and said that seeing Uhura when they were younger was why they got into science, was why they got into NASA, or why even just why they wanted to learn how to navigate a plane or get in various forms of science. It was so important. So it's great to see that now they're going to continue this with an official space camp for young girls. It's coming in January 2026.
To Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah. And apparently they described it as, quote, I'm quoting from the site here. It says, students will work as a team and confront mission scenarios that require dynamic problem solving and critical thinking. 21st century learning skills required in the workplace.
Boy, do we need those.
Yeah, Megan can tell you as a boss that, you know, and
yeah,
all that. Yeah. They're also going to have from Star Trek Prodigy, which is a really cool show. We've talked about them in the more distant past, but the actress Bonnie Gordon is going to serve as one of the mentors at the camp.
Nice.
So they're actually, and from what I've heard, I don't think that's going to be the only Star Trek alumni that are going to participate. They're going to have different people from the show, both the actors and actresses, as well as some of the technical end people that are going to jump in there and maybe do special appearances. That, you know, a lot of it hasn't been officially confirmed yet, but.
So I know this is for female teens, 14 to 18. So when are they opening opening up the 45 to 55.
So you can go.
So we can go.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome, man. But at the very least, I'm glad they're doing this.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing.
I think there's a lot of good that can be gleaned from this. Oh, and one last thing, last but not least, especially since I was talking about horror a little bit earlier with our music video and stuff. Robert Englund, the actor who most people would associate with Freddy Krueger, I associate him with the character Willie from the series V from the early 1980s because I loved V. That was a great show. Excellent science fiction show. But anyway, Robert Englund is going to finally get a star on Hollywood Boulevard.
Nice.
And they're giving it to him on Halloween.
Well, of course.
October 31st, 2025 at 11 a.m. And the star will be located at the 6600 block. So, of course, we got to get the whole sixes thing in there. Make it as evil as they can. But, yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So
yeah, good.
But good for him. Yeah, I think he deserves it. I mean, he is pretty iconic. So. And from what I understand, he's a pretty cool guy.
Is he?
Yeah, I've heard that he's actually a pretty cool, pretty fun guy. So good for him. But anyway, all right, let's go to our sponsor real quick, and then we're going to get into some squad talk. So here we go.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Squad Talk.
All right, and we are back for just a little bit of that good old squad talk. And in this segment, this is where we get into specific things that are shared in the group by members of the Geeking Squad. So not just Megan and myself, but a bunch of you out there. You like to share things that are more participatory, we'll say. That things that we like to get feedback from. And a lot of that is done by either silly little polls or choose memes. Now, I'm sure you know what a choose meme is, but in case you need explanation, it's the things you see shared on social media all the time where they'll picture different things, whether it could be characters from a movie or TV shows or foods or what have you, and they tell you, 5 can stay, 1 has to go, or 1 can stay and 5 have to go, that sort of thing. We have a lot of fun. People love to participate in these and throw in their 2 cents. And we always save our 2 cents for when we do the show. Yeah. And we have a whole handful of them here that we're going to go through. Let's take it easy first. Let's go with this one. This one was shared. It was 2 of these foods have to go forever. Maybe this isn't actually that easy now that I'm...
Talk about yourself.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at it. But, okay, so you have a bunch of different foods to choose from, but 2 of them have to be gone. You can't ever have them again. And that is pizza, ice cream, French fries, cookies, burgers, cake, nuggets, chicken nuggets, chocolate. I'm like, wow, that's general. Or chips. So things like potato chips or Doritos, what have you. 2 of those you have to eliminate from your diet forever. Megan, have you been able to figure out what those 2 would be? I have a suspicion I know at least one of them.
I'm sure you do know one of them.
Can I guess?
Go for it.
I'm going to say burgers.
Yep, that is definitely one of them.
Now, here's the only thing, though. I've seen you enjoy a burger.
I have. But do I enjoy it more than these other things?
Okay. Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. I mean, it's not like I see you eat them a lot.
Right. Yeah. I have to really be in the mood for a burger.
Right.
Yeah. And that's not very often. So.
Okay. So you're going to eliminate
burger
burgers.
Can go.
All right. I'm not sure about the other one, though.
You want to try a guess?
Let's see. I know you love pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I know you love ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Especially in winter.
I was just going to say, for everybody that doesn't know, I don't remember if she emphasized this, because we talked about ice cream a lot in the last month's squad episode.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
And I don't know if you told everybody this or not, but this weirdo over here, you would think that it's like, oh, well, it's summer. Of course she loves ice cream. No. The girl who was perpetually always freezing particularly loves to eat ice cream during the winter.
When I crave it, I don't know what you want from me. I'm already cold, so I might as well have the ice cream.
You don't
I don't make any sense.
Any sense at all.
And actually, right now, dipping some pizza in an ice cream sounds pretty good.
Okay, that's pretty weird. Now, French fries and ice cream, I did.
Yes.
I love that. You gave me a good McDonald's shake and some McDonald's salty fries. Dip that in there. Perfection. Chef's kiss all the way.
Yep.
So because of that, I don't think you're going to say fries. The others get a little nebulous. You love chips.
I do love chips.
You're not gonna get rid of chips. You love chocolate.
I do love my chocolate.
Man, chicken nuggets. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen you eat chicken nuggets before. I can't really think of that. And I know you like cake. I mean, who doesn't like cake? Everybody should like cake. Mm-hmm. Cake is so diverse because there's so many different kinds of
different
cake.
flavors and stuff you can add to it. And
I think I'm going to go, okay, so burgers is one. And so for me, to trying to decide I'm going to say it's a flip between cookies and McNuggets.
it is nuggets.
It's nuggets.
Nuggets have got to go.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. But if I'm going to have chicken, I'm going to have chicken.
Right.
So the nuggets can go. So the only thing I'm keeping that actually has any girth to it is the pizza, and the rest is all junk.
I don't know. The pizza's kind of junk too.
It's
like, yeah, none of it is really, truthfully, folks, we don't need any of the things on this list.
Yeah, I'm fine without the nuggets.
This is harder for me because I like all of these things quite a bit, too much, which is why I'm on a diet right now. I love pizza. I love ice cream, fries, cookies, burgers, cake. You know what? I would probably get rid of nuggets.
Oh,
I really like chicken nuggets, but they end up being something that I only occasionally crave, and it ends up being something that I find most of the time I'm eating out of convenience.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, oh, you know what? I'm not that hungry and we're in a hurry and whatever. I kind of want chicken. Give me some nuggets. Like, I'm fine with them. But if I didn't have chicken nuggets, as long as I still had chicken,
right,
I'd be okay.
Exactly.
Because I could do wings. I could do any of that stuff. So nuggets is going to go. I'm going to be really practical here. This is heartbreaking for me. The other thing I'm going to eliminate, I will explain to you and to everybody. Well, you already know, but I'll explain to everybody at home. I'm going to eliminate chocolate.
Okay. I was going to say chocolate.
Yeah. And the reason being is not because I don't love chocolate, because I love chocolate. I'm going to eliminate chocolate because it's not really good for me. I have health reasons where I'm not really supposed to be eating chocolate. I certainly am not supposed to be eating chocolate regularly. There are attributes of it that cause problems for me. So through technical reasons, I'm just going to eliminate chocolate. And it's kind of funny because when it comes to cookies, like my favorite cookies are chocolate chip cookies. So that would sort of, I know, and Oreos. And so that's all, so it sucks because then it also means I'm sort of eliminating cookies as well. Although there are other cookies I can eat, but I'm with a couple of exceptions, there's not. So I'm actually technically eliminating 3. Cake, I like chocolate cake, but I prefer like a good vanilla cake, or a coconut cream cake or something like that. So yeah, so that's what it's going to be. Nuggets and chocolate, and then if the cookies kind of have to go as well, then I could live without that, I guess. But
all right.
All the other stuff, man, I want pizza and a burger right now. Well, because I'm on a diet, so I'm trying to be good, and it's always the worst.
Like I said, pizza and ice cream sound real good to me right now.
Man. All right, let's move on.
I feel like I'm at a child's birthday party.
Yeah,
we're at Chuck E. Cheese right now.
It's totally child's birthday menu there. Yeah, you're not kidding. All right, let's move on because my stomach's rumbling.
Oh boy.
All right, the next thing, complete opposite. Who created the greatest universe?
Oof.
And this is really hard. I think I have my answer, but it wasn't an easy one. The list is Stan Lee, who created the Marvel universe. Of course, again, people at home, if you're a comic book and you're Marvel fans, you're going to say Stan Lee didn't just himself create the Marvel universe. That was also Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and, Buscema and Gerber and all the rest of them.
Chris Claremont. Make the meme, so.
But yeah, for the sake of narrowing it down, and you could say the same about some of these other ones too, that it was a team. But for the sake of this, Stan Lee and Marvel, Walt Disney and Disney, J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter, Akira Toriyama with Dragon Ball, George R.R. Martin with Game of Thrones, J.R.R. Tolkien with Lord of the Rings and the whole Tolkien universe, Gene Roddenberry with Star Trek, George Lucas and the Star Wars universe, Satoshi Tajiri with Pokemon, and last but not least, C.S. Lewis with the Narnia, the whole Narnia storyline, Chronicles of Narnia. This is tough. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Disclaimer, all of these I enjoy and at the very least I respect. I'm not like the biggest Dragon Ball fan, but I've read some Dragon Ball comics and watched it. Dragon Ball's cool. Pokemon, I actually really dig Pokemon. I think Pokemon's pretty cool. And all the rest of them I'm quite big fans of. This is so hard for me, but when I really, really thought about it, I would have to say that the greatest universe is the Marvel universe.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because much like the rest of these, that I know that they all transcend generations, but I feel like the Marvel universe is the most all-encapsulating. It's got space heroes and villains and stories. It's got down-to-earth one. It's got all different genders and races and everything. It spans everything. There is nothing that isn't touched upon in the Marvel universe, and so much of it is just so great. Even the stuff that goes beyond, I know most people are going to think like, well, Avengers and Spider-Man, and that's all great. But as a comic book complete and utter dork that I am, there are so many other great stories and offshoots and B and C tier stories and characters that you're not aware of that are from Marvel that are fantastic. I've gotten so much out of it. I know a lot of people probably would have assumed I was going to say Star Wars because I'm such a big Star Wars fan, but I think in terms of scope, Star Wars is still so narrow
starting to grow
compared to something like Marvel or something like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. So for me, I'm going with Marvel.
Okay.
I have a feeling I'm going to be really surprised if you don't pick what I think you're going to pick.
Oh, huh. I think you probably know what I'm going to pick.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, Star Wars is really excellent, but I agree with you. It's very limited.
Yes.
Star Trek, my initial gut was pick Star Trek.
That's what I assumed you were going to pick.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm not picking Star Trek, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Game of Thrones, all that. Lord of the Rings, I love all that. But I think I have to go with Disney.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Disney, because you have so many. You got undersea. You have some space stuff. You got everything, and you got talking animals. Keep talking animals.
Well, I've got talking animals in Marvel too. So.
Oh, I guess you do.
Yeah. But okay, I hadn't. You know
but
what?
Mine's cute, nice talking animals.
Right. I hadn't. Well, there's some of those in Marvel too, but then there's also Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really considered that. I'm going to agree with you. I would say the most versatile has to be Marvel and Disney. Mm-hmm. That has to be the most, something for everybody kind of universes there. Mm-hmm. So, I'm down with that.
Yep.
But I love all of them. Harry Potter, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan as well. Star Wars,
that was a hard one. I had to really think about that one.
Yeah, this next one, I will keep this more brief because I don't really know much to say about these because this is tough, but this one got super specific. It was you can only have one spaceship.
Okay.
And they chose an interesting batch of them. So It was Enterprise E, and then the Defiant, then Delta Flyer, or the Millennium Falcon. Now, I'm just going to cut to the quick here. As much as I'm a Trek fan and everything, I got to go Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, you had to do that.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess you're going Enterprise E.
I went Enterprise E because it has lovely accommodations and a holodeck, so I can go wherever I want.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
You can take me wherever I want, and if it's not fast enough, I can just go make my own.
Shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon is breaking down all the time, It
is, but
the Millennium Falcon, for as much of a hunk of junk as it is, it can do the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
Exactly,
So, yeah, I mean, I gotta go. I'm gonna stick with the Millennium Falcon. I'm going for the souped up hot rod kind of junker thing, and you're going for
the
like
classy
you're
ride.
going for the luxury cruiser. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, I'd love to know what people think about that one out there. So let us know what you think. We're gonna keep in that Star Wars theme though a little bit. Speaking of Millennium Falcon, you can only have one Force ability. So of course we're talking about the Force from Star Wars, and they chose some interesting ones here because there's a bunch of different things you can do with the Force. But here was the 4 that they let you choose. One was Force Reach, meaning like the ability to like reach out your hand and
have your lightsaber come to you.
Yeah, have something come to you using it. Yeah, being able to reach through space and grab it, have it come over to you. The Force Choke, which of course that was a Vader thing, that he could choke people
that
from
could
across
come in
the
super
room.
handy.
Yeah. The Force Lightning, which was something that we primarily saw the Emperor do, where he could shoot lightning bolts out of his hands and torture people. Or last but not
least, useful.
All of these could be useful. Last but not least, the Jedi mind trick, which that was definitely a thing of Obi-Wan Kenobi's, and then later Luke used it a little bit as well. So, yeah, I don't know. What you go first? What would you choose out of these?
Well, like I said, the choke and the lightning could come in very, very handy. But the mind trick and the reach.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my initial reaction here.
Yes.
And I'm going to go with the reach because I'm lazy.
I was going to say,
if I don't have to get up to get something, I'm in.
I was going to say you need the reach because you're just too damn short.
Oh, well, that too. I went lazy, so.
Okay, short and lazy here is going with the Force Reach. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. I think the Force Reach thing is quite cool. The Force Choke thing, I don't know. That's that as well as the lightning. They're just kind of violent. Although not like I haven't wanted to force
you don't
choke
work with the public enough, but you do.
Yeah, I just I think that no good would come of that if I had those abilities. No, for me, I think I would like, especially the way people are nowadays, I would like to use the Jedi mind trick on a lot of people out there so that I could maybe get them to act right and start thinking correctly, and when they say something, be like, no, you don't want to go there. It's like, oh no, I don't want to go. It's like, okay, good, we're good. So yeah, I would probably go with the Jedi mind trick. That would be the one. Plus, I'm a huge Obi-Wan Kenobi fan.
Yes,
I love young Obi-Wan, old Obi-Wan. They're both awesome to me. So yeah, I love Obi-Wan. So that's his main thing. Obi-Wan's going around shocking people with lightning or force choking them and stuff. So yeah, and the Force Reach was more of a Luke thing or of a Rey Skywalker thing and stuff. So no, I'll go with Obi-Wan. So Jedi mind trick, that's mine.
All right, that's a really good one.
Yeah. So I can sit there when we're sitting on the couch or we're sitting down here and I'll be like, man, I'm really thirsty. And I'll be like, Megan, you want to get me something to drink? And then she'll be like, Do you want me to get you something to drink? And be like, okay. And then you can use your force reach
and get it.
and just summon it down here from the kitchen. And so it works out. It's a good team there.
It is. See, that's why I didn't go with mind trick, because I live alone.
And who
am I going to mind trick? The cats?
You might want to sometimes.
Sometimes.
To be fair, you might need.
I have one that's grounded right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you might be like, you don't want to run downstairs every time I open that door.
Yeah, or run outside.
Yes. Yeah, you were telling me about that yesterday. Oh, boy. These cats are going to get their butts beat.
Mm-hmm. That's why he's grounded right now.
Last but not least for this section, we've got one last one. This one I thought was kind of funny. You've been sentenced to 6 months house arrest. Which sitcom family do you choose to be cooped up with for 6 months? So you can't even leave the house. You are stuck with them.
That definitely
changes
a bit.
Right. It's not like you can get out of the house and get away with them, so they could be amusing at times. All of these families can be amusing to a point. Mm-hmm. So you can choose the Archie Bunker family from All in the Family, the Huxtables from The Cosby Show, the Jeffersons from The Jeffersons, the Cunninghams from Happy Days, the Evans family from Good Times, or the Dukes family from Dukes of Hazzard. So do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go?
I went first last time. You go first.
Okay. So after considering this for a while, it comes down for me to two families, I think, because the Bunkers, there's no way.
No.
Every one of them would drive me absolutely nuts. Edith has a good heart, but come on, she would drive you nuts.
Ugh, that voice.
Huxtables, too strict for me. The dad'd be too strict and everything. It'd be funny. There'd be a lot of laughs in that house, but I feel like that's just a little bit too strict of a household for me. I saw when Theo got yelled at for cranking his music too loud and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to work.
That wouldn't work with me because I like to turn my music up. The Jeffersons, George and Wheezy they're just always arguing too much. And George is he's so cranky a lot of times. Again, funny, be funny. But yeah, I think I would get tired of hearing them yell at each other all the times. The Dukes of Hazzard, the problem with the Dukes is that I feel like most of the fun of them is
outside.
Yeah. You tell me I can go right around in the General Lee with them or something like that, go jumping bridges and all that kind of stuff. Like that sounds kind of fun, dangerous, but fun. But just being cooped up in the house, it's just going to be you and Uncle Jesse all the time. And I don't know. I just feel like
Casey's there sometimes.
Yeah. And, I don't know. To me, the Dukes always just, in my mind, have always been like an outdoors thing.
Yes.
It's always about being
getting in trouble.
Outdoors. And yeah, exactly. Just on the run. So for me, it really came down to the Evans family from Good Times and the Cunninghams from Happy Days, because they're kind of neck and neck for me, to be honest with you. Because the Evans family, the good family, love the dad, such a good guy. JJ would be cracking my ass up all the time because
two of you together. Oh my gosh,
Jimmy Walker and me. Oh my gosh, we would be cutting up so bad all the time. That would be amazing. But I'm probably going to go with the Cunninghams because I love 50s, 60s music. Like I love that the music that Richie and Joni would be listening to, I would be like totally happy with. Mrs. Cunningham is so sweet and so doting and so nice. Mr. Cunningham, he could be a little curmudgeonly at times, but he was kind of a pushover, really, like he was pretty chill. And then they have Fonz living there upstairs. You get to hang out with the Fonz all the time.
Hey.
Yeah, hey. I mean, who's cooler than the Fonz, and leather jackets and yeah, I'm going to go with the 50s, 60s rock and roll rockabilly thing because I think that would suit me best.
Okay.
So that's the family I would choose.
Right. I should have seen that coming. I really thought you were going to go the Dukes for some reason.
No, like I said, the Dukes are cool, but
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense because they're all out and about. That's what I would choose. If I could go out generally and run from the cops and jump bridges. And
in terms of having like a good time and a laugh and all that stuff, it would definitely be the Evans family from Good Times. But just in the overall, like, okay, I can't leave the house, I'm going to be stuck with them and everything, I think I would probably stay with the Cunninghams. That would be the more chill one.
Okay. For me, I agree with you with the Dukes of Hazzard. I don't think I would choose them. The Bunkers, yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
No. The Jeffersons, I think, not to sound mean or anything, I think they would be too, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking this of like I was younger and got myself in trouble, that these guys would be too old.
Yeah.
For me. And the Huxtables, there's too many daggum kids there.
Yeah.
They drive me crazy. Evans family, I'm not really familiar with that much.
Yeah. Well,
Good Times.
Good Times was more of a 70s show, and you weren't even around
that.
then. Yeah.
So I was thinking the Cunninghams as well, because I want a nice home. Well-cooked meals, home-cooked meals for myself, a nice family to live with. Sounds like a nice house where I probably have my own room to hang out in, a sister that,
I was just going to say, you'd probably be like, want to hang out with Joni.
It'd be like I did when growing up. I had a sister, I had my brother.
Right. So, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I get that. So the Cunninghams is probably the closest in relation to your own experience. So
yeah, I think. But now you're going to be there, so...
Oh, wow. Well, fine. No, you know what? It's fine. You hang out with Joni. I'm going to be upstairs with the Fonz.
Okay.
Yeah. Where the cool guys are. You do
jump
whatever.
Your shark.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, we are. We'll jump all the sharks we want. And when Pinky and Leather Tuscadero come over and hang out, you all can just be hanging out with Joni and doing whatever stupid chachi being in your business. Yeah, whatever.
But I get Mork and Mindy.
Oh gosh, Mork and Mindy. That's that. Oh, see that. Yeah, you're telling me that Mork's gonna show up, and Laverne and Shirley. Because they're all from that universe. Yep. Okay, yeah, that definitely solidifies it for me. Yeah, because I'd be hanging out with Mork and Lenny and Squiggy. That's definitely, I fit right in with them. Don't. Oh man. Okay.
What do you suggest?
All righty, everybody. We are in the home stretch with the What Do You Suggest segment. I know this has been a long one, but there was a lot to talk about. Yeah, there was a lot to talk about in this last month or so. So we'll keep this one fairly short. But in the What Do You Suggest segment, it's just the chance for Megan and I to suggest to you at home what you should check out, something that we've been digging a lot lately. And we each have our own individual one. Sometimes we do it together, but usually it's individual. Megan, you have something. I don't know what this is, so you're going to have to explain to them something you've been digging and you think they should check out.
Yes. So I recently came across this show on Amazon, and I think it's a limited series. So it's only expected to be one season.
Okay.
And that's it. So whatever's out, that's out. That's it. It wrapped it all up, everything. But it's called The Better Sister.
Okay.
And it has Jessica Biel and Elizabeth Banks in it. As
no
two
kidding.
Sisters, yeah.
Okay.
And it's a thriller kind of psychological thing. Obviously you got the two sisters. One seems really fucked up, and the other one seems like she's got her whole life together. But do they really?
Right.
And of course, it's all wrapped around a murder and family drama and whodunit, all that. So I thought it was really fun and interesting, and it kind of reminded me of Dead to Me with Christina Applegate.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of thing where like, oh my gosh, why they just keep digging this hole deeper, and where is this going? And how is this possibly going to play out right for them? It's like, who do we trust? Who should we really be trusting here?
Right.
So.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and it's based on an actual book. So it's based on a standalone novel by Alifair Burke.
Okay.
So it's just the one book. So that's why it was a limited series. But there's talks in both actors have shown interest on doing a second season if
If
anybody
it's
wants to
popular?
talk about,
Okay.
yeah, wants about renewing it. But there's no talks right now.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, it's just like Game of Thrones, where they had to basically start creating their own parts of the story because he
Right.
still wasn't done with it yet.
Right, and there's so much more to delve deeper into these two sisters and their backstory and building up the rapport with each other, because they just tip iceberg, just a little tip of the iceberg here.
Wow.
So there's a lot to build off there.
Cool. And you said that's on Amazon Prime?
Amazon. Mhm.
Okay. That's cool. All right. So mine is not a show, but it's actually a channel on YouTube. I usually like to reference that, give a little shout out to other creators out there, because anymore, as I'm sure you certainly know this, a lot of people that know me know, I watch YouTube all the time.
You
like,
do.
That's what I'm into. I just like watching stuff, and I like watching more like documentary type things. There is a channel on YouTube. It's been around for a little while. I think he started back in 2017. Don't quote me on that, but it is a channel called Atari Archive. But it is a show for any of you retro gamers out there like me, who love the old arcade games and home video games from the 70s through the 80s and even 90s. And it is a channel called Atari Archive. And what they do is they chronicle the early history of video games. Most of their videos, he doesn't really put out a ton of content. He does, on average, I would say, from what I've seen, a new video every 3 to 4 weeks. So kind of like a monthly show. Not unlike what we do here with the Squad cast. But it only comes out once a month, but his episodes are usually anywhere from, I don't know, 25 minutes to like 40 minutes, depending on the subject. You could figure it's roughly around a half an hour an episode. So it's perfect for if you're on lunch or dinner break or something you want to delve into, but you don't want it to be too terribly long. So his series of videos features different video games being focused on in each episode. Like, for example, I think maybe one of the first ones that I found recently was where he did one on Pitfall, which is a great Activision game. Most people have at least heard of Pitfall if you didn't play it like I did. And he goes into the whole history of how it was developed, who developed it, how the gameplay itself, the legacy it left, if any. There's one that he just put out a couple of days ago from when we're recording this now, talking about this King Kong game that was created for the 2600 and how it was similar in ways to Donkey Kong, but it had its whole other thing going on, and lots of really interesting history. If you're a history buff about that sort of thing like I am, and you love the old video games, especially Atari and Activision stuff, this is a really cool channel. The content, it's done well. It's done professionally, but it's not like over the top, over sensory kind of thing. There's some channels that are done really well, but sometimes the way it is, it's so bombastic and it's like, okay, that's a little much. If you just want something that's like informative and kind of chill and cool and interesting, and sometimes, like for me, even like that King Kong game, I'd never played that game, but I watched the video and I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool game. Like, I'm interested in playing that now. So it's one of those kind of things. He also has a website at www.atariarchive.org, which is done almost kind of more like a vlog or a blog type thing, where he'll do corresponding articles. And I think he even said, I don't know if he's actually published any books, but I know he said he was interested in putting out books that were related to retro gaming stuff. So yeah, he's just really into that. It's not a huge channel. I think he's got more subscribers than we do, but it's not one of those big channels like some of these other ones that have like millions or hundreds of thousands. You know, this is definitely a labor of love channel for this guy, and I think he does a great job with it. So yeah, go and check it out. And if you do go check it out, like his videos, comment, and let him know that, you know, we're fans too. Yeah, let him know we sent you, because it's all about us here trying to support other creators that are doing this as a labor of love, because that's what this is for us. We're not getting rich off of this. We're just doing this because we're a couple of dorks.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a couple of dorks that like talking about this stuff with everybody. But with that being said, 1 hour and 25 minutes or so later.
I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, we got through
Considering.
a lot of information in this one.
You
but
made it this far. Thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your feedback on this, and we'll be back next month with more of the Geeking Squad podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that stuff, and check out the other channels.
Yeah, and make sure you post in the group.
Yes, check out all the stuff we put out if you can. We appreciate it. We love you. See you soon.
Bye, guys.